happy to invite you back to our show. And this is What's Up, Doc. All right. And I'm the host, and my name is Doc Durden. All right. And of course, we have a very special guest today. And I'm not going to pronounce his last name because he has a beautiful last name, and I don't want to screw it up. So I'm going to leave it up to him. All right. And so we have Andy
Maldonado.
Maldonado. Isn't
That's
that a beautiful name? Andy Maldonado. All right. And we'll hear more from him. I got to pay the bills here, so let me go ahead and go through our sponsors. Okay. All right. All right. So and of course our first sponsor, as we all know, is Wainema Ranch. All right, the Wainema Ranch is out there in Bordertown. It's at the borderline of California and Nevada, and they are a sanctuary for wild horses, wild Mustangs. How cool is that? I just love it. You know, I live in Virginia City, and I'm out there on my deck in the morning having coffee, and guess what? There'd be 6, 7, 8 horses just walking by. It don't get any better than that. How unique is that? So, so then we're going to take that a little bit further. And this happens to be a snapshot of Wainema Ranch, and there must be about 50 or 60 horses right there, head of horses right there. All right, could be 100, could be 200. There's a lot, all right? And that's one of the pictures. I just love that picture. That's Wainema Ranch, all right? How wonderful is that, all right? They are a sanctuary for wild horses, and they spend a god-awful lot of time taking care of those animals. You don't get time off, all right? That's 24/7. You don't get time off. And so there's, it's the care and feeding. It's just most important. And they have a love of the Mustang, and that's what they do. In the event that you like to volunteer, how wonderful. All right, go to that webpage of WaiNemaRanch.com. All right, if you'd like to volunteer, they'd love to have you. There's always something to do. There's more things to do than what you can fill in for, believe me. So, but it's satisfying to be out there with the horses and caring for them and do whatever is needed to be a volunteer. So that's one way that you can help out the ranch. Another way, if you want to go ahead and donate to that cause, how wonderful is that? You know, it's a huge expense, to keep the welfare going on those wild Mustangs. Now, I've been a horse owner. I've had 7 horses, and I know personally that it takes $600 a month to feed 7 horses. That's a huge amount of money, right? All right, can you imagine if you had to do this with 50, 100? It's just staggering amount of money that it takes to run this ranch. So anyway, any way you can help, that'll be appreciated. All right, we'll continue on right here. Well, here's some more pictures off the web page. All right, and also we have Lacey J. Dalton, right there. She's part of the program. All right, right there. All right, and sometime if you do come out, you might see a filming crew right there. They go out there and they do the commercials and they have the filming crew come out. How wonderful! That's kind of cool. All right, and we have the Great Basin Highway Magazine right here, right there. All right, and this happens to be in Winnemucca. That picture was I took that picture, and that's in Winnemucca. And this person over here, he owned, I can't tell you how many acres. It just goes on and on and on. It's just incredible. And I bring this up because I'm in it. I'm in it. And there I am right there. All right. That's on page 47. All right. And there's the award for some of the movies I've done right there. That's the Westie Award. That's a coveted award. That's cool. And if you want to know more, turn to page 47. And I've never shown anybody this, but that's Hawkins right there. It's Cameron Hawkins right there. And then we have Linda Brown. She's one of my cast members right there, Linda Brown. How cool is that? All right. And on page 48, right there, all right, that's my book, all right, Doc Durden, Living Legend, all right, Living His Dream, all right, Sandy Lene. Well, wait a minute, I got a book right here. How about that? I got a book right here. All right, this here Sandy Lene, author, Nevada author, right down the bottom. That's it says Doc Durden, a living legend, living his dream. And boy, do I. Boy, do I. When you're in the world that I live in, it's a dream every single day. Every single day. So if you're interested in purchasing this book, go to my webpage. My webpage is absolutely cool. I had Cameron Hawkins do that webpage, and it's absolutely the best I've ever had. All right, and that's Doc Durden, docdurden.com. Docdurden.com. All right, simple. All right. And if you have any questions here for Andy or me during the show, please give us a call at 844-790-8255. All right. Give him a call. They said, hey, who's this handsome guy? All right, give him a call. Give him a call. And I'm proud to say, this is the first time, but I'm proud to say we're over 150,000 people reached on this show. What's up, Doc? How cool is that? 150,000 people so far. I am so happy about that. And if anybody's interested in sponsoring this show, please, don't hesitate. Call Eddie Floyd. Eddie Floyd, me and him partnered up, and he's my partner now. And he says, call my personal cell phone. And his personal cell phone is 775-384-4444. All right, and let me go over that once again. It's 775-384-4444. If you're interested in sponsoring, please give him a call on his personal phone. All right, we're gonna go to a break pretty soon, and it's. Stand by. Back to the show. All right. Thanks for coming back. All right, and this is What's Up, Doc. And I'm your host today, Doc Durden, and I'm very, very happy to introduce my guest, Andy Maldonado. How'd I do?
Maldonado.
Oh, what is it?
Andy Maldonado.
Yeah, see, that's the reason I didn't want to say that. But I'm going to go. Okay, here we welcome him in, but now I have to ask him a question. All right, that's the only fair thing to do. Otherwise, he's going to be looking at me and saying, okay. Andy. We've been friends now for quite a while up there in Virginia City. I know you do a show up there, and I know you used to do it like 24/7. You guys are always going on, but I know the virus kind of kicked butt there, and you're not. Or something. But anyway, what we're going to do before we get to those more important juicy questions, I want to ask them, where'd you grow up at, Andy? And welcome to the show.
Well, Doc, I want to thank you for having me on your show. It's quite an honor. I grew up in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, San Antonio.
Born and raised. Oh. Yeah, that's right. I was adopted to a beautiful family that took me in. They raised me wonderfully. All I ever knew growing up was horses and chickens. And I grew up wanting to be a cowboy. Heck, I used to watch cowboy movies with my dad, watching John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, all those famous cowboys. And I told my dad one day, I said, Daddy, I want to be a cowboy. And he's like, keep dreaming, son. Well, I did. I kept dreaming, and here I am doing what I love doing best, and that's performing.
All right, so you're dealing with a lot of chickens. Now, is this like a farm ranch?
Well, we had a home in the city limits of San Antonio, but then we had a summer home in Elmendorf, Texas. That's where we had our chickens and horses, and maybe a couple of head of cattle, but nothing too big. Yeah. But it was just something that I was raised on. I grew up, learning how to turn dirt and grow our own food, basically, pretty much. My dad owned his own business for a time, so we had the luxury to be able to do good stuff, cool stuff like that, having a ranch and raising animals. And I'm an animal lover, so I got to when I was in high school, I was in a 4-H club. So I grew up around horses, so I learned how to ride, I learned how to rope and all kinds of stuff. But yeah. I mean, even then, I was a cowboy back then, and now here I am in Virginia City. I started back in Tombstone, Arizona in 2013, and that's where I got started And
And what we're going to do, we're going to stop you right there because I need to know more about you living in San Antonio. And so now that's kind of cool itself. One of my favorite states is Texas. It really is, only because of what they stand for. You know, it's a lot of cowboys, right? A lot of ranches and the stockyards. I've been to the stockyards, loved it.
Yeah.
I had business in Dallas. We were doing a big theme park in Branson, Missouri, and our builders were in Dallas, so I've been there several times. All right, so San Antonio, how cool! Now is that where the river's at?
That's where the San Antonio River's at. Exactly. Yeah, it's a famous place where a lot of people travel all the way through from all over the world.
Yes, they do, and it's the river. The river. What is it? The River Walk?
It's the River Walk.
What's it called?
It's the San Antonio Riverwalk.
Riverwalk, yeah. I've never been there, but I've seen it on TV many a times, and I got to go. Got to go.
You got to go, Doc.
That's a fun place.
You really got to go. It's a great place.
Yeah. And so you spent your elementary school there, and you spent high school there, and you did 4-H in high school. Now, how cool is that? So you graduated from high school in San Antonio?
Graduated from Burbank High School, yes, sir.
Did you go any college?
No colleges. Well, I went to, I studied to be a massage therapist for a while. But didn't work out. You know, it kept me from what I really wanted to do, and that was to get out and perform and be an actor.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And so you can relax people when you need to. How wonderful is that? All right. So you when did you move from San Antonio, and then I guess you went out on your own?
I did. I would say back in 2006 was the first time I went out on my own. I bought myself a 24-foot RV camper, drove myself all the way up. I was actually heading on up to Los Angeles when I broke down in Dragoon, Arizona.
Dragoon, Arizona. Yes. That brings some memories, absolutely. Now, how old were you in 2006?
2006, I was 35.
35, okay.
35 years old.
All right. So you were later when you moved.
That's right.
Oh, okay, good.
So yeah, I was heading on my way to Los Angeles, got stuck in Dragoon, met some wonderful people there who took care of me. They helped me get my camper back up on the road again. And before I went, a lady said, "Have you ever been to Tombstone?" And I was like, "Isn't that just a fairy tale?" I thought that was just a show. I thought it was just a Tombstone. I didn't think it really existed. So I finally went to Tombstone. Man, that place is quite a town.
Opened up your eyes.
Opened up my eyes.
Yeah.
And the moment I set foot on Tombstone, people was like, "Are you an actor? Are you one of the cowboys here?" I'm like, "No." Well, then you should. And that's where I got started. I networked around there, and I talked to a lot of cowboys, and I said, how can I get into these reenactment shows? So I got involved in one of these El Dorado back in Tombstone. Well, it used to be El Dorado back then. Now it's called the Tombstone theme park, a Western theme park.
Okay, now you're talking about El Dorado Days?
Well, they did have El Dorado Days, but they also had a theater called El Dorado.
I got you.
That's where they performed the reenactment shows there. Yeah. And I did that back in 2013, all the way up until I probably did it for about 4 years until I made it up here to Virginia City.
Okay, now let me take you back to when you graduated from high school. You graduated from high school, and I'm thinking that you're probably 18 years old when you graduated, and you had some years there between 18 and 35. What happened?
Oh, God, jeez.
You kind of zipped through there.
All right, well, I got involved with the FFA. Well, first I was with the FFA. I raised the lamb, and then I went from the FFA to the 4-H.
Okay, now most people don't know what FFA is. You know what the...
FFA is Future Farmers of America.
Okay, here we go.
Future Farmers of America, FFA, and that's where I raised the lamb for a while. And from there, I went from FFA to the 4-H club. Now, 4-H club is like a club for cowboys. You know. Young cowboys and cowgirls. And when I got into the 4-H club, Well, I was already raising horses, so that's when I wanted to give it a go, and I got hooked on it. I started doing, all kinds of good shows, like activities, events like barrel racing, pole bending, calf roping, um, calf wrestling. That's fun. I tell you what, that's a lot of fun. But yeah,
So this is like a ranch rodeo.
it is. It's like a ranch rodeo.
Yeah, a ranch rodeo, and so now you got your experience on doing a lot of bucking on a lot of different animals.
All kinds. Yeah, yeah, I've had my share of fun on both
Yeah.
cattle and horses.
Now you were raising these animals.
Yes, sir.
And also when you do that, you show them sometimes, and then there's awards that are given out.
Yeah.
Did you ever get involved with that?
Well, I didn't get to show any of my horses, but I did have a lamb that I showed at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo that they have annually. And I was a freshman in my sophomore years when I was involved with the FFA, and I had a lamb that I raised named Duncan. And I raised that lamb from a little bitty lamb to a nice sized little lamb. And I had an opportunity to go up to show my lamb at the Stock Show and Rodeo. And believe it or not, I got a little prize for it.
So you did show it.
I did.
And you got a prize. And what kind of prize was that?
Well, it was a
Knife? No.
actually it was a ribbon.
Oh, a ribbon.
And it was a ribbon for best show
Okay.
and for the quality of the lamb
Oh,
that
excellent.
I raised.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually got to sell it. I actually sold it there at the Stock Show and Rodeo.
Yeah, and they sell those by the pound or?
Gosh.
You remember
Did it back then.
Yeah.
But I would say by the pound.
But you're award winner. That's the show.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That
I
was
love it. Up until you decided that you're going to get yourself an RV, and you're heading west.
I was heading west.
Heading west, and your objective was where? You're heading where?
I was on my way to Los Angeles. I was going to join in on a ministry called the Dream Center. I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor, so I was raised in the church, and I was involved, and I heard about this ministry up in LA, and I wanted to go and see what it was all about. And on my way down there, I broke down in Dragoon, was stuck there for a few months, and then that's when I got hooked on Tombstone and became an actor instead.
Okay, and we're going to get to Tombstone, but we need to know more about your ministry in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Now you've what was your duties? Your dad was the minister.
Yes.
And your mother was
the minister's wife.
the
Basically.
minister's wife.
Yeah.
And she would support dad
Yeah.
and do whatever details work and probably paperwork. All right. And so anyway, we're gonna stop right there because I want to know more about the ministry in San Antonio. And we're going to break. And come on back. All right. All right. You're back. I'm back. And this is What's Up, Doc. And I'm hosting Doc Durden, and my very special guest and very interesting, I have to add, is Andy. And we left talking about the ministry and what his duties were. All right, this is kind of fascinating. So I'm gonna start out by asking you, all right, your duties in the ministry were what?
Well, when my dad opened up his church, he used to be a diesel mechanic, and then he retired from the business, and then the very diesel shop that he worked out of, he turned that diesel shop into the church that it is today.
Now that diesel shop was his.
It was his.
It was his to begin with.
It was Andy's Diesel Service.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and then he turned his diesel shop into the church that it is today, and now that church is still going strong, and reaching out to a lot of people throughout the city in San Antonio.
Now that's remarkable. Now you talk about the hand of God reaching out and knowing that this man here could help, and he has a lot to say. And welcome to the ministry. So he did everything he possibly could to get his church up and running. You got to give it to him. You got to give it to him, and he did. He took his diesel business and turned it into a church. How wonderful! What a good story that is. And so you spent how many years?
Well, I was 19 years old when he got the church going, and about that time I was kind of doing a little bit of both worship, singing, part of the
Singing.
kind
Yes.
of the worship crew of his church. And then about a couple of years after that, Dad had offered me the service of being a youth director, and I did that for 2 years, and it was wonderful. I mean,
Excellent, yeah.
getting out there to, you know, reaching out to the young ones. And I was a teenager and went through a lot. And now, when I was involved with my church, with my dad, gave me the opportunity to reach out to a lot of teenagers and get them involved. And we've done a lot of stuff. We've done some outreaches. We've traveled from town to town and just sharing God's word and the testimony of what God did for our lives and how He's turned it around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful for that.
Good for you. I mean, that's one heck of a story. I love it. I love it. And so the years that you spent, obviously, goes on your resume, and it helped you certainly later on in life because you sang quite a bit in the church. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm not going to have you sing because I know that you're not prepared, but I'd like to bring you back sometime and hear some of those songs.
Absolutely.
I think it'd be absolutely another thing that your fans would like to hear.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. All right, so again, so now you're 35 years old, and you got your RV, and you're heading out to Los Angeles,
Mm-hmm.
and you get broken down there at
Dragoon, Arizona.
that place, and I love it. What a great spot to get broken down.
Oh, it is.
And so they helped you out by saying you got to head south, young man. You got to go to Tombstone.
That's right.
And okay, so now you're heading out to Tombstone, and when you get to Tombstone, this is an eye opener for you.
Oh, yeah.
So let me know. So let me hear what happened when you got to Tombstone. Let's go back and talk about a reenactment. What does that mean to your fans? What's a reenactment?
Well, reenactment is Tombstone is a historical town, and it's known for its back in the day times when they were mining and cowboys coming through.
Back in the 1800s.
Back in the 1800s, yeah. There was a lot of mining and cowboys coming through, and like I said, it's a historical town. So basically, what we do, Tombstone's known for its gunfight show called the OK Corral, and that's where I was bit right there when I knew this is what I wanted to do.
That's where you seen that.
But I didn't actually reenact the OK Corral. What we did is we did another theater. It's a comedy show, cowboy comedy. We do a funny minor bit, and I just fell in love with it. It just got me out there and got me to know how to do different characters and be different actors. I went from a miner to an outlaw to a drunken marshal, and it's just fun. I just love getting out there and making people laugh.
Yeah, you do that well. And of course, the reenactment it usually dates back to the 1800s, and
right.
It may have happened, it could have happened, and it did happen.
It did.
All right, and they do it in a funny way, and
Yeah.
it is humorous. And I've seen this show many times in Virginia City, and we'll get to that. And it just cracks me up. All right, so now this. This here bit you a little bit because now you just loving what you see.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was a tourist that asked you, are you part of the show? And and you said no, but you should be.
Yeah.
All right. Then what happened?
Well, I started. I got involved, and I got to where I was getting well known around town. Tombstone's a small town, so living there, everybody knows everybody, so you can't get away with a whole lot. But I have been fortunate to meet a lot of people. I've been asked to do other shows, just for fun. I did birthday parties. I've done all kinds of gigs. But there is one thing that I did do that I was quite honored to be a part of. I got to do. I was an extra in a movie called Dead Men, starring Peter Shireko, who I got to meet there in Tombstone before I got involved with this movie show, And yeah, it was a great experience, and I had fun, and I still enjoy doing it.
Yeah, now Peter Sirocco, he's going to be a guest on our show here later on when the next gun show happens to be. He's going to be part. He'll be part of our guest. All right, he's a very interesting man.
Yeah.
And he has a huge following, and he's still active, still doing movies. And the reason why it's so important for him to be in Tombstone because he starred in Tombstone.
That's right.
So he's one of the major actors in Tombstone. So that was kind of cool that he picked up Andy here and invited him to do one of his movies.
Yeah.
How cool is that? You don't
right.
get much better than that. So now. You're on set of his movie, and you were playing what?
Actually, I was one of his marshals in this movie called Dead Men. He was one of the main marshals, and then I was one of his other deputies. And if you ever see the movie, it's basically about a young boy whose daddy gets killed by some really bad guys, and now it's up to him to go and avenge his dad's death. And this is where we come in, and we kind of form a posse to get the bad guys that killed this young man's dad. And Peter Sirocco was one of the men that I got to have the honor to work with, and I had fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and what's kind of cool about this is that just because you're breathing, you're not part of Peter Sirocco's team. All right, so obviously my guess is he fits the part perfectly. He has a great look, so he has everything going for him. And besides that, he has a good history. He grew up around horses and everything, so he's very, very familiar with anything that Sirocco could throw at him.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that Peter picked that up real quick because Peter meets a lot of different people. He works with a lot of different people. It was an honor, and as Andy said, it was an honor to go ahead and be able to work with
Yes, it was.
Peter Sirocco. And he's currently in California, right?
That's right.
Doing his movies. Do you remember the city? I can't never remember the city he's in. But anyway, I'm not going to put you on that spot. All right. So now we go forward, and so now you. Join a reenactment group in Tombstone?
That's right.
Yes.
I did. As a matter of fact, the same theater that my boss, he also has a theater in Virginia City, which when I heard about it, I was like, you mean I could do the same show that I do here in Tombstone up there in Virginia City? He's like, yeah. I said, I'd like to have a shot at that. So back in 2015, no, 2016. It was 2016 when I first came to Virginia City and became part of the show. And now I'm doing it here, and we're now at 2021 and still doing it, and I love it.
And that show is where? In Virginia City, but whereabouts? If I drove to Virginia City and I happen to take 341 and I'm on 341, that actually turns into C Street.
That's right. That's the main strip of Virginia City. So you can't miss Virginia City. If you're going up 341 up the mountain, heading up to Virginia City, if you're going down Virginia City, you'll see it to the left, right across the street from the Washoe Club, which is also a well-known, famous historical building, which is right across the street from our...
If I remember right, the Washoe is the oldest saloon in Virginia City.
Yeah.
And get this, at one time when Virginia City was rolling in cash, there was 109 saloons in Virginia City, and the Washoe is a survivor.
That's
and
right.
what's kind of cool about that also is that they are haunted. Extremely haunted, and they have the Gentlemen's Club upstairs, and they run tours through the Washoe Club. That's just a plug for the Washoe because I've done some stuff for them, and I appreciate that. And we're going to commercial, all right, and now we're gonna come back with Andy. All right, come on back. All right, we're back, and thanks for staying with me. This is What's Up, Doc. And I'm hosting at Doc Durden, and my special guest, and I'm having a blast here. A lot of information. I just loving Andy here. I've known Andy for a long time, but I didn't know his history as a lot of you didn't know his childhood and his history, and I'm just loving the whole thing. So now we're I forget kind of like where we're at, but we were talking about the Washoe anyway. So let me start you out there.
Okay. Well, we're called the Virginia City Outlaws, and our theater is directly right across the street from the Washoe, and so yeah, that's where I went from Tombstone to Virginia City, and still working with the same cowboy that I started with, and it's fun, man. We do a lot of stuff. We have great fun. We have all kinds of people that come in from all over the world that come and see our show, and along with other stuff, because Virginia City is known for its historical haunted buildings like the and Bonanza. There have been some episodes that maybe some of you might have seen that I participated with the group called the Ghost Adventures. So a lot of the buildings there have had the Ghost Adventures come up there and do ghost investigations. So I've been honored, and it was a lot of fun working with these guys. So if you get a chance, come on up to Virginia City.
Blake, you've gone past it, but
Yeah.
the history is huge.
The history is huge,
People
yes.
come up and they're going to spend a couple of 3 hours, to go through the history. Well, they find out they can't do that. So they end up staying over and for a couple more days because the history is absolutely huge. And so we have to now talk about your employment right now. And your employment is with the Virginia City Gunfighters.
That's right.
And they play daily, and they'll start up again probably Memorial Day. We'll kind of shut down for the Virginia City kind of cuts down. Shuts down for the winter because of tourism. It's not at its peak. We get pretty close to 2 million people a year in Virginia City, so we do quite well as far as tourism. And a lot of those people end up at the theater of the Virginia City Gunfighters. And they do the reenactments going back to the 1800 cowboys, where it might have happened. It could have happened, it should have happened, and it did happen. And this is what he does to this day. And I want to know more about what you do there because I try to pick up your show at least once a month.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I go, I feel good when I'm laughing. You do an excellent job right there, and so let me in on it.
Well, Doc, I tell you what, it's always great having you come out and see our shows. It just comes to show that you appreciate what we do and you enjoy it. Because if I remember correctly, I must have seen you come and see our show at least 5 times this past summer, and you always bring friends with you to come and see our shows, and it's always an honor to have you. Thank you. But no, it's really good. Now, yes, it is a seasonal reenactment season. Off season, I do odd jobs on the side. Sometimes I'll do groundskeeping over there at the Mackey, or I'll just help people around town, and that's just to help me get by, so that way I can get myself ready for the up and coming season. So, I have to say I was really surprised with this past season, because seeing that everything that had happened with the COVID-19 business, I thought that was going to hurt our shows for last season. But believe it or not, people were still coming, and we had great turnout. So, COVID had nothing on us. We still put on a great show.
Now, when I do, there's time that you play the sheriff. There's time that you play the town drunk. In other words, you're pretty versatile, and so you play these many different characters, and you do extremely well. And I just absolutely love what you do, and I'm constantly looking. We have other people that are there. We have 4 or 6 people on your set, but this man right here is one that stands out quite a bit. So what's your favorite character, and what are the other characters?
Doc, that's a good question. I like playing the goofy characters. I like playing the miner because he's, it's a short part, but it's a great part because it gets me to be, I play this scrawny old miner with my hair all matted up, and I'm looking for my donkey. Some outlaw done stole my donkey, and I just want to make a big fuss about it. And then I'd say my second character, second best character is Percy. If any of y'all have come and seen our show, you know that when we do the bank robbery, there's Colt and Percy. Percy is Colt's sidekick. I'm just a goofy guy, and I love playing Percy, just being here I am, Colt, you know. But I have fun. I like playing the outlaws. I like playing the drunken marshal. Gosh, I just have so much fun. I'm hoping that this up-and-coming season we'll have some new material and see what other characters I might be able to portray other than just what I've just shared with you now. But I like it. I like it, and I don't see myself giving up anytime soon.
Well, you know what? You're talking about new material, and Nevada. I mean, the Virginia City gunfighters. They don't really need new material because why? It's because they're dealing with terrorism. That's the reason why they've had the same. They've had the same skit, probably that I know of. Let's see here. I met. When did I meet? I met Stinky, and he played the miner.
Yeah, he did.
And it goes back probably 8-9 years ago.
Yeah, almost 10 years.
10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago when I met Stinky, and he played the miner that comes out of the outhouse through the hole and everything. Comes out. All right. And that's the reason why he got his name, Stinky, there at that show. So they've been playing the same skit for all these years, but it doesn't make any difference because they're playing a new crowd every show. You have 3-4 shows a day, at least 3 I know.
Yeah.
And it's a nominal fee too. It's not much. It's $5 for an adult. Something like that, and plus a tip, and I think kids are free. What age?
Kids under 5 are okay. If you come out there, it's actually $8 for adult, $5 for kids, and 5 and under are free. So, that's not a bad price because here's the deal. If you buy a ticket from our show will get you discounts around town. So if you're happen to go shopping or you happen to want to get yourself a drink, a ticket will get you a discount.
Oh, that's good to know. And also, you're affiliated again with the Washoe, where you get a discount on the drinks, or you get a drink, or So that's another thing that you want to consider. But for the fees that they do charge, it's just absolutely hysterical. You definitely get. I'm telling you, and I'm being perfectly frank, and of course I'm always honest with you. But you get your money's worth.
You do.
There's absolutely no doubt about it. You get your money's worth, and everybody walks away, very, very well with a smile on their face.
Oh yeah.
And then after the show, of course, you have the picture taking time.
Yeah.
So if you see your favorite actor, absolutely no problem. They expect it. They want the pictures being taken. So they'll spend whatever time it takes. If there's 20 people there that want to take pictures, they'll take their time. Each one of them will go ahead and take a separate picture of you. If you want to be next to Andy because you just love what Andy was doing, and it's hard not to love what he's doing, then you want a picture with him. Okay, so that's exactly what happens. And there's 3-4 other actors also that you may enjoy. Oh, you might have a picture with all of them.
That's right.
It doesn't make any difference, but they'll be there for you. And God, there's so much here. So what's in the future with Andy? I know there's more stuff coming up with the Ghost Adventurers.
Yeah.
It's a constant deal, and this is their town. They adopted Virginia City.
That's right.
One because they seen their first. What do they call it? The first ghost apparition. I think it's their first apparition they found here in Virginia City.
Yeah.
So they adopted Virginia City. So they're up here as often as they can, and
right.
when they do, they always find something else to film. And Annie happens to be one of their actors that they love to go to because he can do anything.
Yeah.
He's versatile. He's got a lot of experience, and he can do anything. So Andy, what's coming up now for you?
Well, I've been up here now going on 3 seasons, and it's been a while since I've been back to Tombstone. So I'm thinking about doing one more season here this summer here in Virginia City, and then God willing, next year I'll be heading back to Tombstone. just that's where I started. So I figured, why not? If I start there, why not finish there? And then I figured after a couple of years there, then I'm just gonna.
Off to Hollywood.
Well, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Anything's possible. Anything's possible. But no, I love doing what I do, and I hope that if y'all have not ever seen our show, I invite you to come on down to Virginia City. You'll see us right there in the main street of C Street, right across the street from the Washoe Club. You can't miss it. The Virginia City Outlaws.
All right. Is there another way they can get in touch with you if they need to?
Well, if you want to get in touch with me, you can look me up on Facebook. It's Andy Maldonado, and that's where you'll find me. I can't think. Let me see. And also, you can also look up the Virginia City Outlaws. You'll not only see me, but you'll see the rest of our actors. We got some really great actors, some great people. So if you get a chance, come on out and look us up, and we'd love to have you. I tell you what, yeah, that would be great.
All right, we got to go. We are done. Oh my God! All right, thank you, Andy.
Well, thank you for having me, Doug.
Brilliant guest. I just absolutely love it, and I'd love to have you back.
I'd love to come back.
All right, good. All right, we're out. Thank you.
Wow, that was pretty cool.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. You did an excellent job.